What is up, everyone? It is me, DevilNeverCry, and this is Chapter 4 of Ninja Gaiden 4, Pilgrim's Windswept Path on Master Ninja difficulty. Keeping on with Yakumo here. This is going to be one of the easier chapters, or missions I should say, to tackle. And you can see that probably by the runtime of this video, because it's just so short. And the reason for that is because there are a lot of encounters that just aren't mandatory. So if you're looking for a way to kind of just prevail through Master Ninja mode, perhaps not doing the most when it comes to min and maxing, playing perfect, this is the video for you. But this is an encounter that is not skippable, as I quickly learned here. I think at one point, as you can see here, I literally am contemplating sort of restarting this, but that kind of leads me on to one of my initial gripes about this game, is the fact that there is no way to easily restart a chapter. And just the checkpoint reset is terrible too. For those of you that have tried it, you'll realize that the game doesn't really save progress all too much. So you can lose huge swathes of progress, whether that's encounters, traversal, or even things like going into the menu and buying like new skills or items. I think I've touched upon this in a previous video, but it's a shame, and it's really, there's no excuse for it at this point. And a lot of people, particularly if you're going for rank runs of this game, I don't know how you're going to do it, because the sheer amount of time on console that it takes for something to be restarted, for you to restart a checkpoint or the mission, is beyond ludicrous. There is no restart mission feature. You have to exit all the way out into the title screen and basically go through several load screens just to restart, which is unacceptable. For those of you that have played previous Ninja Gaiden games, I think Ninja Gaiden 3 did it really well, where even if you died or you wanted to restart, it was like 1 or 2 seconds. I think some community members have tried to measure, and I think it takes on average around 9 to 10 seconds for a restart on this game, and that's just when you get a game over, you know? So, yeah, I don't know what Team Ninja or Platinum were thinking. I'm assuming on PC that it's a night and day difference, but yeah, it's not great on console, I'll say that much. So we've transitioned this fight, by the way, I should probably talk about it, down to the second floor, just because there's a lot more room, gives you more of a chance to get some more on-landing UTs going, just because there's more places for you to actually land. But we've got the essences spawning, so it's really not that hard. As you can see that we transition from one enemy to the other. I find that you can alter which path you take, provided you've got more than one charge on your ultimate technique, by using the left stick to aim. And we're in a bit of a precarious situation here, where this dude's on the cliff. He's not quite dead yet. If we could get an obliteration technique on him, it'd be great, but we can't. And you can see just how annoying the platforming is here, where he doesn't want to jump from the cliff. Survival instinct's too strong, but I realize that enemy's basically down and out, so we can proceed. As we open up that chest and we move on. Not entirely sure why they have these breakable boards listed around through a lot of the chapters here, but yeah, they don't really add too much. We're going to assassinate maybe a couple of enemies here, and then we're going to dip, because quite quickly a big boy spawns in, and it's not really worth it, if I'm honest. As I contemplate who do I want to take out next, I absolutely whiff that. I realize I didn't get the assassination. I get one cheeky little Azuna drop in, and then I'm like, alright, it's time to bounce, as he tries to bifurcate me there, but he misses entirely. And the reason why a lot of this works so well is because there are a lot of these sequences where you cross these large gaps, so you can just leave. We take him out for good measure, and then we're going to break these boards and move on. Shame we don't spend more time in this sort of environment, where it's like an actual forest as opposed to just cliff faces. And it seems to be just nothing but overcast and grey weather. These guys can follow you a little bit, so do be careful. You'll see that the enemy indicator still on your screen, but once they disappear, you kind of know you're in the clear. And I actually take a bit of a sloppy death coming up on this section, which is where we get this crossfade. Basically, I realized that facing these enemies isn't worth it, because right at the end, a big boy spawns. And if you want to have an easier time of skipping this, don't kill those enemies. Just leave, and you'll be fine. Same with these guys, they jump down, raring to go, not realizing that Yakumo here gets paid not by the hour, but per job. So, yeah, he's not incentivized to stick around. they seemingly despawn or don't follow you because we're going to be sat here for a little bit of time whilst Umi speaks to us. I think a lot of people here are more on Team Sayori instead of Team Umi. Maybe because they find Sayori more palatable, or maybe it's just because of the amount of plot that she physically carries around, if you know what I mean. But yeah, walk and talk sequences don't really have much of a place in any character action or action game in general, because this isn't something I'd typically characterize as purely character action. I don't know why they do it. It just makes it annoying on repeat playthroughs. I guess it's alright the first time through, but it kind of is a pace breaker. And then we're going to do a whole lot of flying, you know? Yakumo would start singing he believes he can fly, but he doesn't want to be chucked in a jail cell. As we slide on there and skip another encounter. We are going to have a mandatory encounter coming up over here, but this one, thankfully, isn't too bad. We get a nice little assassination here to set us on our way. Get us a nice essence, and then we can start chaining some on-landing attacks. And I keep getting people in some of the comments wondering exactly how I'm doing this. Definitely go and check out the combat guide that I made. It is geared towards beginners, so it should get you on your way. Though there are some things there which, if you've perhaps played previous Ninja Gaiden titles but not have delved into some of the actual mechanics, you might find some things interesting there. But it goes into basically the on-landing techniques and just how useful they are. And if I'm honest, just using that one technique can carry you through, I want to say, 80 to 90% of this game, even on this difficulty. A lot of the difficulty, if I'm honest, comes from the moments like this when you've not got an ultimate technique in store and you've not got any blood essence to get it going immediately, so you kind of have to get a little bit creative with how you get it to spawn. And there's nothing worse than getting an on-landing and then just whiffing it or missing entirely because the spacing is a little off or because the enemies are up in the air slightly, so Yakumo just completely whiffs it, scuffs it entirely, but we're not doing too bad here. I guess it is worth mentioning as well is that when your health is in the red, it is recoverable, so there's not necessarily any need to pop an item just yet. Using a couple of ultimate techniques will typically recover a large portion of it. Just a bit of an FYI, but we're going to do a little bit more platforming. But at the end of this chapter and at the end of the upcoming chapters, I should say as well, basically when you're in this entire Fuhaku Sanctum area, as I get tagged there, you're going to come up against a gauntlet of enemies, so you really have to kind of just keep that in mind, be prepared. The game is quite gracious in that it throws a bunch of, like, it throws a shrine or a karasu, or a crow, at you just before that, which gives you some time to stock up and prepare. But yeah, instead of having bosses, they're just going to have these gauntlets of enemies at you that you're going to face. They're not going to be too tricky, but there are going to be a lot of enemies, so keep that in mind. As we come across this suspension bridge, Yakumo just has terrible luck on bridges. As you find if you play this game, he just keeps getting thrown off of so many of them, or they keep collapsing. And I believe this is the final fight of this mission. And what I'm doing there is I'm trying to break some pots or anything just to see if there's any essence just hanging around. As I don't get the Azuna drop there, and I accidentally... I take unnecessary damage there. I accidentally absorb that essence because I wasn't expecting it, which would have got me the ultimate technique there. And I'm trying to get the on-landing, but I just can't because they keep throwing attacks my way, which I'm blocking mid-air, which is cool, but at the same time, it's a little bit tricky. But we get the ultimate techniques going, and it's not going to be long before this fight is inevitably over. Just stay on your toes, use the ultimate techniques. It's going to be one of the pots that spawns in, if I remember correctly, which you want to kind of make sure that there are some essence lying around so you can hit it with at least a level 1. I get lucky there, it spawns in to one of my ultimate techniques, but there's enough essence going around where I can kind of just take it out before it starts causing trouble. Even on its death, though, it starts leaking this purple miasma, which isn't great. Honestly, one of the most annoying enemies. But yeah, make sure you don't stay around in it for too long. And that's basically the final challenge of this chapter done. Yakumo's going to break the statue, give himself, God knows how much bad luck, a couple decades there at the very least. But yeah, we're going to hit this this cutscene, and it's going to be the end of the video and the chapter. So, with all that said and done, it has been me, DevilNeverCry. I'd like to thank all of you for watching, And as always, I'll see you all next video.